Hi guys, and welcome to the Steel and Velvet podcast. My name is Nash, and this is
Macey.
We're very happy to come to you guys and just kind of get this started. It's kind of been something that her and I've always wanted to do since, what would you say,
like month 2 or 3.
Month 2 or 3, yeah. It's been pretty early on. Like, we've always listened to podcasts together, whether that was, for our relationship or for our relationship with the Lord or just like, funnier ones. Tends to be what we listen to in the car rather than music, which may not always be a good thing. We could be listening to worship music. But we are officially starting our own. I think it's pretty cool. Any thoughts?
I've had a reminder on my phone for about a year saying podcast ideas for a straight year, and I just set the timer over and over, so it's cool to finally be doing it.
Yeah. Life has definitely gotten a little bit busy, but it honestly has been something that we feel can be like a creative outlet, especially for you, because you're very creative in that way. So I know we're happy to kind of get this going, and I don't think we expect much from it other than just we felt like it was something God was kind of pushing us to do in a way, because it just kept coming back as something that we wanted to do.
There's also not a lot of just like Christian couples. There are some, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So why not just be one more?
Not as much as there are any other podcast on the platform, for sure. But yeah, I think for kind of like how it started, I think we were just talking about what we were seeing in culture today with Christians, and especially in like younger couples, and our main focus is definitely like what we want to do or how it can help other people, or at least just share our story as far as what we've learned in our relationship. And we definitely have a bunch to go. We're getting married in October, so that'll be a whole new journey as far as the relationship goes. But there's a lot that we learned, and a lot that both of us had to get over in our relationship. And that's not going to be all of it. We'll definitely go into, other aspects, probably dive into scripture, and it might not always be at least human relationship based.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, something that we'd want to do. And if it's a way that we can minister to other people, I think it's a really cool outlet for it.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. What do you hope for this podcast?
I hope that I have like a couple podcasts that I listen to pretty consistently, and they're really sound people, and I just don't think there's a lot of that out there. Not to toot our own horn, but I feel like we have a good understanding of the Bible and what it calls us to do, and I would like to help other people realize that as well, and want to, especially in relationships with our age. I'm 22 and Nash is 21, so
Cougar.
there's a very different demographic, like a different worldview, I guess, for relationships, and
Yeah.
I think it's definitely impacting our friends and just people we know, even in the church. So to give a different perspective from a young couple, I feel like is not super common, and I feel like it'd be really good to share that, and just relationally, because I think you're smart when it comes to theology and all that.
That's not true. I think, we have a good understanding of scripture, but we're definitely going to be working at it and always getting better. But there's a lot of people in culture telling our generation what a healthy relationship looks like, and things that you can do to have a healthy relationship, or honestly things that you can do to better yourself, and what a healthy lifestyle looks like for yourself. And so I think it's those kind of things that I think it worries not only us, but I think anybody who is in Christianity today and in the church today, seeing the way that culture is with our age, and just this view of relationships
I think of even just like gender standards, like.
Alrighty.
Sorry.
We're going there.
Sorry, no, I'm just saying like, what? Oh goodness gracious, our roles as like women or our roles as men, and how it's just kind of like strayed a lot from the Bible. Hence the name Steel and Velvet, because men are typically more of the steel. Well, okay, this is actually in reference to how men should both have steel and velvet.
Yes.
Correct?
So this is based on the book. Honestly, I can't remember.
It's not based on the book. The name is based on the book.
What?
The name is based on the book, not
the
podcast is about, right?
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. The name is based on the book. Man of Steel and Velvet is what it's called. And I've read it a couple of times, and it's helped me a lot. Well, you're not a man, so I don't think you have to. But it is about the balance of us as guys. We have a steel side, which I think a lot of guys can immediately see, and a lot of girls can immediately see. But for some reason, that velvet side to us that you either have to develop or you have it and you push it down. Like for me, I think I pushed mine down. And as we got into a relationship, she kind of...
It's been different throughout the relationship too. It just depends on the season you're in.
Yeah. And I think when we were first dating, you asked for that velvet side, because I think there was times where I tried to be too tough because I thought that's what I had to be. But that looked like me not sharing any kind of feelings, and that building resentments or...
And me getting insecure and not knowing what you're feeling.
Or just shutting down.
Yeah.
But that doesn't just apply to a man. I think it applies to Christians and how we're called to live our lives, to where there's a lot of times in Scripture we're called to stand firm and hold firm for Scripture and to be strong. But you look at Jesus, and he had a very velvet side, but he also had the strong side. So I think, we're supposed to model after Jesus. You look at him, he definitely had a steel and velvet side. And I think when you have that view on your relationship, on yourself, or on your faith, most importantly, I think that changes how you react to anything and how you do anything. At least that's what I've seen, is it's when I have that in mind, and I really focus on that and I pray about that and ask that God would help me to live that way, it helps me in many situations, to where if there's times where, if you need me to be strong, I feel like I know when I need to be strong, or if there's times where I need to share and I need to share my emotions, I think, I know when to do that. I'm not perfect at it in any kind of way.
You're okay when I bring it up if I'm like, I need a little bit more, or I need you to tell me how you're feeling. It's not as much of a battle now.
And that definitely would not have been the case early on. I probably would have been offended by that early on, because I would have thought that, I don't know, it would have hurt my ego. Yeah. But
so that's the name, Steel and Velvet.
That is the name, and I think that's the intention, is to hopefully open up other people's, minds to that view on Scripture and how we're supposed to, do our walk in our relationship with Jesus, and with a relationship with your spouse, your girlfriend, or your friends. Because it comes back to boundaries too, to where, there's times where you need to have strong boundaries or whatever it may be. It really affects every situation in my opinion. And so we may have to jump into the book at some point and talk over some of that, or I'm sure people have some takes on Scripture in that way. But I think Macey is excited for this part. But we want to talk about how we met, I guess, to start off our first episode.
Yeah. We set our intentions in the name and all that stuff. But my name is Macey. I am 22 years old.
She's a year older than me.
In 5 days, so 2 years older than you for 5 days. Anyway, I am from Florida basically my whole life. I was born in Maryland, but I've lived here. So I've been here for my whole life. Nash moved here. I don't know why I'm going into our birth stories. Anyway, we met 2 years ago.
Our origin stories, as Macey said.
Anyway.
In a couple of clips before we started this, our origin story. Not our relationship story.
Cut that out.
Origin story.
Cut
like
that
we're
out.
Superman and Lois.
Nope. Anyway, he and I met 2 years ago at our church summer camp, we were both volunteering for our high school and middle school camp. And long story short, I had been in Tennessee living with my sister. I have 2 sisters. So I lived with one sister in Tennessee for a little less than a year. And then my other sister came up and visited with her now husband. And that now husband told me that he would see me with this guy, Nash, who's new to Discovery. And then he showed me a picture, and I was like, oh, heck no. I don't know.
I love hearing that. It makes me
It was
so
also
happy.
a picture of you when you were like 16, so you can see you don't have very many pictures on your Instagram.
So apparently I was ugly at 16.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But you had a baby face. Anyway, so he showed me a picture of Nash, and I was like, just obviously, yeah, we went into that. And, I'm lost. So then after that, I think like 2 months later, that's when I met you in person at camp. And you were so quiet and so reserved. And I thought I was pretty funny, landing a ton of jokes, and I didn't get a single laugh the entire week or 2 that we were there. I feel like, it was so hard. It was like pulling teeth to try to get you to laugh. Come 2 months after camp, so camp was in July, and then September 6th, you slid into my DMs, and, oh gosh, I put like a Devo on my story, and he swiped up and put 100 emoji on my story.
It's pretty good.
And so we started talking from there, and we talked for about a month, a little more than a month.
Like a month and a half, I think.
Because then he asked me out. First date,
October
both of us
16th.
had ever been on. But the first date both of us had ever been on, and first boyfriend, girlfriend, first kiss, everything. Not first kiss then, but that didn't need to be said. But anyway.
We did have our first kiss 2 weeks after the date.
On Halloween.
That's true.
On Halloween.
It was a sweet treat, you could say.
Anyway, that was so cringy.
Max is behind the camera. He's cringing right now.
So we started dating October 16th, and it is now May
21st.
21st?
Yeah, it was off the top of my head. I didn't look at
No,
my
it's
watch
the 20th,
at
is
all.
it not? Today's the 21st? Oh, okay. So we've been dating for a year and 7 months as of the 16th. And then he proposed... Whoa. That was not English. He proposed to me on December 16th at our 1 year, 2 months. And we're getting married 4 days after our 2-year anniversary. That's our origin, in case you wanted to know our origin story. Origin?
So, I guess I can kind of explain from my side if that's okay. Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
So, we had just left a church that we were very close to and had a lot of community there. And we came to Discovery, and I think we came in February, and I started serving in the student ministry in May, and then camp was in July, so I kind of got thrown into all that, but it was very exciting. Bunch of new people to meet, and I am 100% an introvert, so...
I am naturally not an introvert.
If
obviously.
you can't tell.
Sanguine phlegmatic.
Sanguine phlegmatic.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that test, I don't even remember what it's called. But anyway, so I went there. I knew a couple people and that I was close to, so I could like talk to them while I was there. But Macey was not one of them. So I had met her
Did you know
at
that
camp.
I
She
existed?
claims that we met before going into camp at like this little like training thing or whatever. And I don't remember
No,
that.
I wasn't there.
Or whatever.
The
you
day
said.
we drove to camp when we all met at the main campus.
She apparently says we met. I don't
We
remember
have a
that.
picture together.
But
We
I don't
did
remember
meet.
meeting you.
Okay, we literally have a picture in a group.
But I don't remember meeting you.
Okay, keep going.
Sorry, I have to be right. That was a joke. I don't have to be right. First episode, I expect you guys to know our jokes. That's probably really loud on the mic too. I gotta be careful.
Whoa.
Oh no.
He can cut it out. He probably won't, but he can cut it out.
So anyway, so I went to camp, And it was a long week because I did high school and middle school, and I think you came.
I did high school and middle school.
Okay.
I did, and then I left in between because my sister had to go take a test.
Yeah, so she
at
did.
College.
So she did high school and middle school, and it was a long week. I hadn't done anything like that. I hadn't served at a church camp before and led like a small group before at a church camp. So I was a little drained, and honestly, I don't remember Macy's jokes, so I can't tell you if they were funny or not. But
there was one point. Can I say it really quick?
Yeah.
There was one point they asked us to go and like help clean up. Like we have like rec games that we had like recreational games that the kids had been playing
church
all day.
Camp games.
Yeah, it's a church camp. Well, we said we were at church anyway. Okay. But they had asked does anybody want to come help us like pick it up? And it was nighttime, and so I think there was like 6 of us sitting in the back of a pickup truck. And we drove past Nash, who was trying to walk to his cabin, I think, to go to sleep or something, because it was like 11 o'clock.
Probably, yeah.
And now I know it's just his, like, serving character, but he just didn't say no, and he got on, and he was, like, holding onto the back of the pickup truck. Like
a horse.
It was so weird. And I was, like, me and my friend were trying to joke around with him, and, like, I don't know, I felt like we were pretty funny, but probably not, honestly. He was stoic and just staring forward and just not...
I did acknowledge them. I didn't just not say anything to them. That's what you make it sound like.
No, I'm just saying you didn't laugh at my jokes. But that's the whole thing.
It was literally the last day of the 5 days that I was there. So you can think.
But now you think I'm the funniest person alive, right?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a funnier person than you.
Thank
I
you.
mean that honestly. I do think you're the funniest person I know. But anyway, yeah. So I didn't laugh at her jokes. I had a great time at camp, though. I did think she was cute. I do want to note that. I did think she was cute. I just didn't talk to her a ton. But I also heard that she lived in Tennessee, so...
Excuses.
It's not an excuse. It's a valid excuse, actually. So it is an excuse.
Distance shouldn't matter.
So... I was also at a place where I was very okay with being single. I didn't feel like the Lord was calling me to do that. So I felt like by hearing that, it was...
I was too. I just needed to get that in there.
I don't think she was.
Maybe not.
I was okay being single. I was not looking at all. But I thought she was cute. But then I heard she lived in Tennessee. So I was like, not going to really pursue that. I think that's kind of a sign that I probably should not. Until...
I think I moved home a month after.
Like a month later.
Not
and I
even.
saw her at like, we were at this like
No,
game.
10 days. It was 10 days after. Sorry.
It was very short. And we were at like this game night and I saw her. They were like, what the heck? Like I thought she was in Tennessee. So then my thinking kind of changed. And I kind of started pursuing and dropping little hints here and there. And
did you also just get
I thought Max something happened with the camera. So we got scared. Huh?
It says movie stop automatic. I started it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we were at this game night and was trying to drop hints and stuff, but then after that, I think I slowly was sliding into the DMs, reacting to stories.
I would show up to Topgolf just because it was a very broad invite and I jumped on any opportunity to
Because
come.
I was there.
Mm.
She wanted to see my swing.
Oh,
So, yeah.
That's how we met.
That's how we met. And then we started talking, and I did, in fact, drop a 100 emoji to one of her like devotion times that she posted on her Instagram.
It's just crazy what, like, we would text till like 4 a.m. Just like
paragraphs, like journal entries.
I would be at like my internship that I had at the time, and I remember like I would get a message that was like, I'm pretty tall. That's all, I guess. Yeah.
Like you think like an iPhone's length, like
Yeah.
that.
It was literally
Like, takes 10
whole
minutes
hearts.
to type out.
Yeah.
We were interested in each other for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely don't text like that anymore, but that's okay.
It's pretty short.
It's also because we see each other like
Almost all the time.
almost
Yeah.
every day. Not every day. We keep a day in between. But anyway, that's for another episode or something. But yeah, so then after the 100 emoji, she was sold. Yeah, then we were at a Miller's Ale House, and I asked her if she wanted to go get coffee.
Oh,
the
that's
next
right.
Sunday. So
I excused myself to go to the bathroom, and then I remember just like freaking out. I think I texted my sister or my mom or something. Maybe. Oh my gosh, I was freaking.
So if
First
you ever
date.
want to ask her to grow up, go to
Miller's Ale House.
Miller's Ale House and ask her to go to Starbucks with you. It's pretty easy. Yeah, and that was really it. First date, I asked her to be my girlfriend, so I honestly didn't know how it worked because I'd never had a girlfriend before.
I also think you did it well. We also we didn't hang out one-on-one until you asked me out. Like, we probably hung out 10 times, maybe a little bit less.
Decent amount.
Just with friends, with our, like, I was friends with his, I still am friends with his sister, but, like, I was getting to know his
She
sister
does not
first.
like my sister.
No,
That's a joke.
we love
Maya.
you, Maya.
That's a
I
joke.
was, oh my gosh, I was trying to, like, become friends with her. I had, like, met her after church for, like, a burger or something, and then I had slept over at your house a few times. I remember one time I was saying I was hungry, and I was having a sleepover with his sister, and he, like, was just sitting in the room with us watching, I think it was, like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that I was hungry, and he's like, oh, you're hungry? Let me go make you something. And he was like, how does avocado toast sound? Or something like that. Like, he was like, what do you want? And I asked him for avocado toast, and he came up and he said, I think you brought a piece of bread with half an avocado on top, and
Just
it wasn't,
smashed.
no, it wasn't ripe at all. And you were like, I can't get it. Can I make you something else? And so it was just a very cute
So I
moment.
made you a
where
peanut butter sandwich, which you then later told me that you actually don't like at all.
peanut butter jelly?
No, just peanut butter sandwich.
No, I like peanut butter sandwiches.
Not that much though.
Not my favorite, but I was hungry. But looking back now, I just see how much effort you put in. I think it was really sweet and cute. So
Try making avocado toast with an unripe.
not
Avocado.
easy. But
It's
what the moral, not the moral, but the story behind that is that I really value that you didn't hang out with me one-on-one before we started dating.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I think that leaves room for temptation or whatever it may be. I mean, we started dating October 16th. First time you asked me out, first time whatever. First time I got flowers from somebody. Held hands with a guy,
Which she initiated.
which I didn't realize I
Big move.
initiated. And then 2 weeks later, even 2 weeks later, we kissed. It wasn't even like instantly after.
Yeah.
I was really paranoid that this is totally okay to be like this, and I want to preface that. But somebody who waits till marriage to kiss, and I wasn't really up for that. So, that's all.
So apparently that would have been a deal breaker.
No, it wouldn't have been a deal breaker, but would have been definitely a conversation.
Anyway, that's our story. That's our origin story, as Macy would like to say. I'm going to keep throwing that in there.
And then, what do we want to come from this?
Yeah, I guess we're going to do a shorter episode.
Is
I
that
guess.
okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
totally fine. I think we're just going to do a shorter one. Just because, we're still getting a feel of all this, and whenever this does come out, we want to hear, you guys' thoughts on all of it. But what would we like to see come from it? Me personally, kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, like just for somebody to have a different view on their relationship with the Lord, and a different view on their relationship with the person, because there's a lot of stuff that I had to fix when we were first in a relationship, and there's a lot of stuff that I had to get over when we were in our relationship, and it wasn't anything that she was doing. It just took me investing myself into things that were going to benefit our relationship, and just getting over that laziness or comfortability in that area, and getting over my pride. And that once we did that, it helped our relationship a ton. And understanding commitment in the relationship, and once you understand the commitment side of it, then you're committed to doing other things for that person because you love them so much. But I would love just to see people get closer to Jesus and hear stories about this stuff. And, there doesn't have to be a ton of people listening to this. It's just a way that I think we can minister together. And yeah, like we said, I feel like God's calling us to do this and kind of use this outlet in a way. So I would just love to see that all happen.
Going off of what you said, I think one of the biggest things I've learned, and I'm still really, really, really trying to get better at because I know I'm not great, is just sacrificial love. I mean, we have a really good base for it. So to try and be better at that and how I serve you and how I love you, and swallowing the way I may feel about a certain situation or something you've said, just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's wrong that you said it. You know what I'm saying? And just swallowing that and moving on, because not everything is worth a fight or an emotional time. So I think that is probably one of the biggest benefits I've learned from being in a relationship, is just the sacrifice of it and how that has grown us as people. I mean, I think about how much each of us have matured since we started dating, and I just really want to I want to break down, this might sound dramatic, but I want to break down our arguments. I want to go through different stages of our relationship that other people might be going through, how we got through it, because there was a point in our relationship where, I mean, what was it? Month 1, we both had a conversation about commitment in the car. Mm-hmm. From then, we had decided we're not going to talk about breaking up because there was that commitment.
Which is, it probably seems early to a lot of people, but
yeah, it was.
It depends on the situation with the person, but Macy and I, we have a very unique situation where we haven't been in a relationship with anybody else.
We don't have anything to base it on.
There's no, I don't want to say baggage in a way, but there's nothing, it's definitely not baggage, that's not the right word at all, that's mean. But there was no other comparison, yeah, that's what I was looking for. There's no comparison, so all we knew was to be committed to each other.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to go into the different stages of our relationship, what we did to get through them, and just, I want to help guide people to the Lord, because it's not super common that you even see that in today's world. Sometimes in the church, not always, but sometimes. But that's my intention. Yep.
And I think that's a great intention. That was way better answer than me.
No, that's not true.
But I just would like to say that the sacrificial love part, she is very good at that. So everybody can always improve, but she is very good at that. But thanks for listening. I think that's pretty much it.
Guess we gotta go now.
She doesn't want to go. She was.
No, I was
super nervous about starting this, but now she doesn't want to get off. Thank you guys for listening. I'm excited to do the next episode. I don't know what we're going to do it on.
Oh, we didn't go into what we want to do, though. Oh, really quick?
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
We want to not do, Nash has more of the theological background.
Not background. Sound like I went to seminary.
No, but he has a lot more knowledge of the Bible.
So.
But I think we both want to sit down and, whether it be a series over a few podcasts of certain topics, or single week topics, or having people on, maybe he'll have a friend on and I'll have a friend on. Just to do just topics as.
Mm-hmm. This isn't just going to be relationship based. I think
relationships across the board.
Yes.
Like you said, friendships, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
It's good. If you want a good podcast that you can listen to about better relationships with other
really
people, we're going to try our hardest to be that.
I want to bring in the Bible in every, just base each podcast on some type of scripture and refer to it and talk about it and dissect it and go from there.
Because it affects everything we do. It's a good answer.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. This was episode 1 of the Steel and Velvet podcast. See ya.